This is a first generation RAV4. What you may not know is that these little things invented the crossover SUV class. They're now nearly 30 years old. Well, Lil Monty's 30 years old. So would you buy one today? So we're gonna do a buyer's guide right now for the first gen RAV4. Stick around. So you might be asking, well, what are they like to drive? Well, in a word, 1990s. Is that one word? Is that two? 90s. So with only 120 horsepower, don't expect a rocket ship. The manuals are actually quite lively. The autos, not so much. So what you want to check, particularly of the autos, which by the way I prefer if you are doing four-wheel driving because it means you can left foot brake, is they can be a little slow. That's first to second shift there, pretty good on this one. Go through the gears. They could be a little slow to go to second. Let's try that. Hook to second. There, I went. Let's try that again. And to drive, hook second, 1, 2 seconds. So it's not fast. So check the way the auto shifts. The manuals, no issues there. Check your steering. It should be really smooth. Obviously check for rattles and clunks. It's a 30-year-old truck. This one's 30 years old, so you're going to get a few. You're going to get a few rattles. But actually, no. If there's any rattles, that's a little bit unusual because they're normally pretty tight. This one's done 224,000 kilometers, and it still feels really, really tight and rattle-free. So those are the things to check out. But don't expect a rocket ship because they ain't. But you know what? It's a chance to just, sit back a bit, check out the scenery, put your window in and cruise. So while I said, the fastest thing, they can keep up with modern day traffic pretty adequately. We're sitting on 100 clicks now, and it sits on 100 Ks, no problem at all. It's surprisingly quiet. I've got the off-road tyres, so that you can hear a little bit of whine in the back, but the wind noise is muted. And all the better for putting your pumping stereo sounds in. Yeah, maybe I should put on, what was that song I was listening to before? Yeah, I might put on some sounds in a minute. Yeah, so it drives, like a 90s Toyota. It's like your mother-in-law's Corolla. If she lets you drive it. All right, let's get a bit of off-road stuff done. So why does the first gen RAV4 matter, first of all? Well, it was launched in 1994 in Japan, came out in the US in 1996. It was one of the first sort of car-based compact SUVs. Before that, they were all trucks. It was built on, you know, Corolla thinking, not Land Cruiser thinking. It's so it makes it lighter, it's more economical, it's easier to live with than the big SUVs. And would you believe this? It won the 1997 Automobile of the Year, a big deal. It was a big deal at the time. So before the RAV4, SUVs were basically trucks. The RAV4 really changed the rules. Man, it's quite amazing, really. So they call it the XA10. That's the platform. The first ones were 3 doors, which is like the one that I'm in right now. Those were the first models. They're quite quirky, they're lighter, they're much rarer. I like them. I prefer them. I think they look really quirky and cool. The 5 doors came out a little later. They are the most common. They're a bit more practical. Oh, and some markets got this really cool soft top convertible. Wow. And if you can find one of those are pretty cool. And I think it was Japan only. They had a 3S GE powered RAV4, which is the G series engines of Toyota are the performance engine. So that's the 16 valve rev to 7.5 grand, 1,000 RPM that is. If you can find a convertible soft top 3S GE powered RAV4, bleep that down in the comments. I would love to see that. They came in, most of them are 4-wheel drive. I think in American markets you could get a front-wheel drive version, but you probably don't really want that. They came in a 5-speed manual or a 4-speed auto, and the engines were pretty much, through the whole life of them, was 4-cylinder engines. The 3S FE, trusty 3S FE, the aforementioned 3S GE, and I think there was a diesel version available in some Europe markets as well. I've seen a few of those diesel-powered ones. These crazy Eastern Europeans taking RAV4 to all sorts of crazy places. The 3S FE is around about 120 horsepower. Very, very reliable if they're serviced right. We'll take a look under the bonnet and we'll talk about the things you need to look out for. That's how it should sound. Smooth idle. This one's done 228,000 and it should sound like that. Nice and smooth. Basically, you're not buying one of these for speed, you're buying one of these because it's simple, it's light, and it's honest. Righto, here's the 5 big things you want to check before buying. The first thing is rust. That is the biggest killer of first generation RAVs. So you want to get underneath with your torch, you want to check underneath. You want to check the front and rear subframes. You want to check suspension mounting points. You want to check the floor plans, particularly the sills. And you want to check that the rear cross member. I'll put some shots up of all of those things. So that's the first thing. And the other thing is that in the scuttle, underneath the windscreen, on the A-pillars, they can rust there. Unfortunately, that's really hard to really identify without taking the windscreen out. Lil Monty, this wee special fella, I had to change the windscreen and I was a little nervous. Is there going to be rust under there? Thankfully there was not. Look for telltale signs, little bubbles in the paint on the A-pillars, base of the windscreen. Just check that. So that's number one, you want to check for rust. Number 2, the engine is, as I've said, really pretty bulletproof, the 3S FE, the petrol 4-cylinder. You want to make sure it's got a belt timing belt, so that needs to be changed every 100,000 Ks, so you want to make sure that that has been changed. There should be a sticker underneath the bonnet with a date and the time, the date and the mileage that the timing belt was changed. If in doubt, get it changed. It's not expensive to do. They are quiet engines, so listen for any rattles. They should idle really smoothly, and absolutely shouldn't be any overheating, even in really hot conditions. Other than that, the engines they really are a cool little engine. Lil Monty had a few oil leaks. These engines, the 3SFE, has an external oil pump. Most engines have it inside, in the sump, inside the engine. This has it on the outside, which is kind of cool because it's so easy to fix. So this had a leak around the external oil pump. I think it cost, I took it down to my dealer, I think it cost me $200. It's about 100 US for, that was for parts. No, actually it was about $300, 150 US to get that fixed, and that included parts and labour, so it's not an expensive fix. You might find a little oil leaks around, don't be too worried about that. I've had mine fixed up in terms of there's some oil leaks around the transaxle, because this does a lot of water crossings, and if oil can get out, guess what water can do? Get in, right? But remember, folks, mechanical issues are fixable, structural rust is not. So if it's got lots of rust, walk away. If there's a few mechanical issues to be dealt with, like oil leaks, a few minor things, don't be put off. Those are cheap to fix, and parts are readily available. The transmission, drivetrain, pretty bulletproof. Four-wheel drive is the one to have. There were some front-wheel drive ones, as I said. The four-wheel drive is the one you want to get. As I said, the manual, the 5-speed manual, bulletproof. They feel a lot more lively, particularly in this 3-door form. The autos, yeah, they're not so much. I prefer the auto though, as I've said, because of off-road. You can left foot brake and you can crawl. It's only a 4-speed auto, but it has got a power switch. I think they call it ECTS, which I guess stands for, what does it stand for? Electronically Controlled Transmission Sport. There you go. And it's got a manual hold switch in autos. The manuals, they have got a lockable center diff, which is quite cool. The autos have a torsion sensing diff, which works pretty good off-road. Suspension-wise, look for worn shocks, dampers for you English folks. Look for worn bearings. Other than that, pretty robust underneath. Electrics, 90s Toyota, pretty good. The HVAC or aircon should blow cold. Very happy right now. This is New Zealand. It's a beautiful day. It's 26 degrees, 25, and it's perfect in here. It's nice and cool. Oh, there's one thing I love about the aircon system. I don't know why modern cars dispense with this, but the first gen RAVs have got the little vent down here which blows cold air right to your, seat level. And on a hot day, I reckon it's better than, I've got a modern car with heated and cooled seats. I reckon this works better. It's just, it's nice. Did I say that aloud? Oh, I could scrub it out later, but yeah, just enjoy this in this traffic jam right now. Cool breeze. Check all your lights, make sure everything works. Everything should work. The only thing that gets a little tricky on this one is, well, not tricky, is the central locking is a little slow. You've got to give it a bit of a tweak every now and again, but that is good. But everything should work, even at 30 years old. So those are the 5 things. What did I talk about? Yeah, we talked about rust. We talked about engine. We talked about transmission, drivetrain. Was that 3? We talked about suspension, steering and brakes, those sorts of things. Those are, all pretty straightforward. We talked about electrics. That's 5. You really do, I think the last thing around, you really need to give yourself a talking to around a safety reality check. These cars are very basic by modern standards. Very early airbags. The first 94 ones, they didn't even have airbags. There's no driver aids, there's no ABS in the very early ones. This is not your family tank. You're trading safety for simplicity. So you need to be honest with yourself about the level of safety you're comfortable with. For these things, what they're great for, they're great for enthusiasts. I'm one of those. They're great if you're, for a classic daily driver. They're great for rural use. Here down in New Zealand, dairy farmers and a lot of farmers use them instead of side-by-sides because, mate, in the morning you got aircon. In the winter you got heating. It's closed in. When it rains you don't get wet. And they are really good, which is the main purpose for this one, for lightweight adventure builds. They're fantastic for adventure builds, for lightweight ones, to really show, the big SUVs. They're a bit of a giant killer in that respect. What they're not good for, they're not ideal for if you're on a long motorway commute. That's not their gig. If you're a really safety-focused family buyer, this is not the truck to look for. And if you're looking for modern convenience and comfort features, this is not the car for you. So, a good first-gen RAV4, it's a brilliant little thing. They're simple, they're dependable, they're full of character, but you want to buy on condition, not nostalgia. So find a good one and it will make you smile, as it does for everyone which sees, particularly the cute little 3-door. Thanks for watching, folks. If you made it this far, thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you have seen today, hit the like, push that little like button, push the little subscribe button, and then, down below, I'm asking you, well, have you owned one? What did you like about it? What didn't you like? What have I missed? And would you buy one today? Thanks so much for watching. Appreciate you very much. Take care out there.